What up? Nothing like going from a video on gun violence and AI crime prediction to a drum machine. However, it's a really inspiring drum machine in what feels to me like a drum machine lull. And it's not like a lot of drum machines haven't come out in the last decade, but they tend to either be sample-based or the same drum machine over and over and over and over and over. Earlier this year, I acquired a Pulsar 23, and boy, is that thing incredible. It is so much fun and it is so inspiring. However, it is a tad bit much and not the most convenient thing to use if you are just trying to get some interesting drums in your workflow when you're trying to create music. So the hunt goes on. Now, Erica Synths has made some pretty interesting stuff over the past few years, and I took the bait with the Syntrex, and I really enjoyed playing with that. I initially thought that the Syntrex was a clone of the legendary and rare EMS Synthy, but it just felt more like an ancestor down the bloodline of the Synthy, if that makes any sense. What stuck out to me the most was just the creativity and courage to make something like that in 2021. Which brings us to what I am assuming is Erica Synth's new flagship drum machine, the PERKONS HD-01. 4 diverse hybrid voices, each with their own sends and returns, each with their own trigger inputs, and each with their own outputs. Has MIDI in and MIDI out. It has an SD card that apparently could assassinate somebody from 100 meters away. There's a master send and return, then your master output, and a headphone output. All of these are mono 1/4 inch. And it is in a very rugged, heavy-ass metal exterior. Enough double talk. Let's go play with it. I initially thought that I would have to read the entire manual to do anything on this, but it's surprisingly intuitive. And for the functions that I did need a little bit of a hint with, like setting the MIDI settings, for example, I was able to find very easily in this pretty thorough and handy manual. Now, I'm a big fan of saving the environment and rainforests and all that stuff, but when it comes to a device like this, I really like having a paper manual, especially one that I could just keep open like that, because nothing is worse than having this super analog device with no screen and then having to keep your phone next to it and keep touching it because it keeps turning the screen off. Anyway, upon first glance, you're probably thinking, wow, only 4 voices? Well, kind of, but not really. So this is a kick. This is sort of an alternate kick / bass tone. This is a snare, and this is a hi-hat. This is a kick, this is a bass tone, this is a snare. So basically there's a lot of different algorithms per voice. Put them in the sequencer like this. Okay, I have accents turned on, so I could press one of these twice. So with these voices here, I'm gonna change the algorithm. So now we have this sequence and it's only using one of these tracks. Let's add a snare. And hi-hats. And now I can hit last and make this only 15 steps. That way it'll sound more dynamic. Okay, so ratcheting is fun. Here, make sure ratchet's held. That'll double it. That'll add 3 ratchets, 4, and 5. Holding down shift will mute things. So instead of ratcheting, we can also set odds. This will happen every half time it's played. Then over here we have different modes for the subparameter. So we also have probability, where we can give each of these a 10% chance of playing, or a 25% chance, or a 50% chance. or a 90% chance. So now this will be constantly evolving, and if we want it to be even more evolvey, we could have it play back and forth, like so. We could have it play random. Let's bring in those other tracks. All right, let's add one big monster snare right in the center here. As you may have noticed, we have a compressor that goes over this entire thing. We also have some delay. I can raise this effect send. And then, again, probability down to 10%. And it'll just be a once in a while random occurrence. There it is. We want to add shuffle. That almost kind of cleaned it up, didn't it? Now, if there's one thing that you should know about this, if you want to recall a pattern the exact way that you heard it, then you need to press Kit, and you need to save that kit first, because by default, it saves the kit with the pattern. I didn't do that because I kind of wanted the kit to go back to default because all the perimeter locks stay the same, so it still should sound pretty funky. Okay, so let's say I'm going to put a snare fill on this one, pattern, hit record, save that, and now let's go back to this pattern. Okay, so if we want to modulate something like the tuning, we hit the mod button here, and then our snare is the third channel. We select tune, and then the modulation depth, which I guess goes up to 80%. Now the tuning should be modulated. And I suppose we could actually make a pretty decent acid line here. Okay, maybe not. Okay, so quickly I'm going to go through the algorithms and the perimeters on the algorithms. We have a high pass filter, a band pass filter, and a low pass filter for all of these. For the sake of simplicity, I'm just going to enable low pass for each and every one of these. Algorithm 1, mode 1. I don't think there are different modes for algorithm 1. Algorithm 2, mode 1. Algorithm 2, mode 2. Algorithm 2, mode 3. Whoa. Jeez, that's like dubstep worthy. Algorithm 3, mode 1. Algorithm 3, mode 2. Algorithm 3, mode 3. Let's move on to this bass thing. Algorithm 1, mode 1. Algorithm 2, mode 1. Mode 2. Mode 3. Algorithm 3, mode 1. Mode 2. Mode 3. All right, snare time. Voice 3, algorithm 1, mode 1. Mode 2. Mode 3. Algorithm 2, mode 1. Mode 2. and mode 3. That's wacky. Algorithm 3, mode 1. Finally, the strange and wild world of hi-hats, although this could be a clap or a pretty interesting noise generator too, I believe. So yeah, this kind of clap territory, isn't it? So that's algorithm 1, mode 1. We're going to mode 2. Mode 3. Sounds like a train a little bit. Algorithm 2, mode 1. Algorithm 3, mode 1. Mode 2. And mode 3. I think that's it. And so at the end of the day, what you end up having is a very diverse amount of sounds that you could put in one single pattern. And then of course you could chain those patterns together to be as long as you wish. And another thing to mention about the patterns is that initially I felt a little bit limited going back to the old school 16-step pattern, but the odds really allow you to expand on this. For example, if you want to fill, these two have a 1 in 4 odd. So now it won't play it again until the next 4 bars. Which at first to me seemed like an interesting way to give things a bit of a more generative spice, but then I kind of realized that if it was intentionally made the way that I think it is, it's actually pretty brilliant because it really allows you to put in a fill every 8 bars without actually having to leave that pattern, which is awesome. All right, let's connect it to some shit around the studio. So, what do you think? I didn't cover a few things like groove patterns or system settings, but you could definitely have a look in the manual and see how those work, and there's plenty of other videos on YouTube, I'm sure, that demonstrate them. Another cool thing that just really didn't fit into my personal workflow was live perimeter recording. You could, for example, just hit record and then punch in a beat live like you would do on an MPC or something, but you could also hit record and change the cutoff or something like that within your pattern. And then when you turn off record and hit play, all of your tweaking will be recorded in the pattern. This is very cool, but for me, it is entirely eclipsed by the very powerful perimeter locking functions. I guess I just wanted to try it and apply it to my personal music making workflow to see if it fit. And it did. I love it. I spent way more time making this video than I had planned because I kept zoning out and procrastinating by just creating music with it rather than looking at it objectively from a YouTuber standpoint, which is probably the best endorsement I can give. And if you noticed, it made me pull some synths off the shelf that I haven't used in a bit and dust them off and play with it. And I don't know if that's so much because of this particular drum machine or if it's just because I have a drum machine that I really like and now I want to put some extra voices to it with hardware synthesizers. Either way, that was a lot of fun. You know what I was thinking? If you were to pair this with something like the Polyend Play or the Digitact or whatever you like for an extra layer of glitchiness, you would definitely be giving yourself a very complete electronic drum solution that would take a very long time for you to get bored of. So what's the catch? Are there any downsides? Well, I ran into some pretty annoying bugs regarding MIDI syncing to other devices or the MIDI clock syncing with other devices. However, that seems to be patched with the 1.0 firmware. Also, the patterns do not save themselves by design. And if you wanted to hit a step and then hit ratcheting, but accidentally let go of that step and hit pattern and then hit that step again, guess what? You're going to lose all of your progress with making that pattern, and you're probably going to say a really bad swear word. I feel like for a lot of people that will be really annoying in the first day. However, after the first couple of times it happens to you, you'll learn your lesson real fast, and you just start saving things a lot more frequently. So TLDR, or TLDW, you didn't watch it, or TLDL, you didn't listen to it. Like, you watched this entire video on mute, which would be so weird. TLD, all of the above. The PERKONS is a pretty versatile drum machine, and I think you would have a hard time finding an electronic musician who didn't like it. It retails at the current time for $2,099 USD. I'm trying to stop saying if something is worth it or not because I do realize that every person has a different comfort level with how much they're willing to spend on gear, so that's really up to you. If it helps you any, I just recently sold my machine drum for pretty much the exact price that this thing costs, and I am much happier with the PERKONS taking real estate in my studio. I'm actually not sure if I should be saying PERKONS or PERKONS, because PERKONS reminds me of Perkins, which is a chain diner in the United States, and then PERKONS reminds me of somebody with a mouthful of pecans trying to say the word pecan. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to my channel or stalk me on social media if you want more frequent updates of what I'm up to. The link should be there in the description. If you want to support me, have access to tons of unreleased music, audio assets, an amazing Discord community with monthly songwriting challenges. My Patreon is for you, and you can join for as little as $1. All right, partner, I'll see you later. Bye.